Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by 3Chi and Barstool Sports, and the penultimate edition of Hawkeye recaps for My Mom's Basement. I said my words were all jumbled there, but it might be a COVID side effect. We'll get into that. This is the COVID show. I am here with Clem. It is Thursday as we record this, December 16th. If you're listening to this on release day or release weekend, even, happy No Way Home weekend as well. I know this is a thing that everyone's been waiting for forever. We were waiting for forever. At this point, as of recording, we'll break the fourth wall a little bit. We've both seen No Way Home. So that we're in like a post, it's like after we saw Endgame, it's like that feeling you have. You're like, oh my God, we know all the secrets. This is what we've been waiting for forever. But yeah, we're in a crazy state of mind to record the Hawkeye recap right now.
We're both going to be the meme of the kid with the vein coming through his head, not saying anything about Spider-Man.
Yeah, there will be no spoilers for Spider-Man. We won't say anything.
Of
We're going
course
to do a
not.
recap on Monday. Let everyone get to see it this weekend. So you don't have to worry about that.
But this is Bob Fox. Bob Fox is going to have two flu games because he's going to have this one, and we're going to do Spider-Man probably the next day or so. So then we have it out by Monday. And, there's no rush because people see it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then into Monday. But the thing is, like, the hype around Hawkeye, and to everyone who was like tweeting at me and be like, oh, Hawkeye, like I try not to like engage too much with stuff because I know stuff can show up on people's feeds. Like, I hate the spoiler culture we're in, but at the same point, like, I don't want to say anything about the episodes when people's radars are up. Again, if you didn't know if Uncle King, you didn't know Uncle Kingpin was coming, you ain't listening to the podcast. We were telling you that for fucking episode one. We tell you who's sus, we tell you who's the C word. We were fucking money on all
this
of it.
One felt good. I almost texted you after the episode. See, I always, like you said, I don't know when to text you because, like, I don't want to give anything away, but I wanted to text you just like we did it. We actually called something this time, We throw a lot of shit at the wall, and when something sticks, it's like, oh, it stuck.
We are just, the two idiot kids that keep doing something, and then when it finally hits, we're like, I told you, we fucking like we're money. But good, like a really fun episode.
Yeah.
And the whole series as a whole, it's very unique. Like, I saw some people saying like it is weird how they're like you still feel like you're meeting villains as it goes along. But again, it's kind of like with WandaVision looking back. We're building a universe right now. We're not doing TV shows. You got to think different than traditional TV. It's streaming. It's movies. The shit Spider-Man movies are coming out. That's not even an MCU product.
We already have Echo announced. That's a miniseries that's already so like. I feel like Echo. And maybe I could be wrong about this. We don't know anything about it. I feel like Echo is going to be basically the sequel to Hawkeye. In my mind, Kingpin will be in that show, and Maya obviously will continue. So maybe Kate Bishop comes in, maybe Yelena comes into that show as well. Like, I think that will be the spiritual sequel to this.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That would definitely make a lot of sense because you're living in, again, there's so many different worlds. Like we say, the space world. This is kind of the real life organized crime underbelly world, and I think that's going to be, like you said, maybe Hawkeye or Winter Soldier. That kind of the same kind of genre bleeds together. So I could see that kind of being the sequel. But I found my comic books the other day. I posted a few online, and I had noticed. I forgot about this because it's been so long since I've read comics, is I'd see like an X-Men and an X-Factor and then like a Fantastic Four. And it's the same storyline with the same kind of artwork and Executioner song or whatever it is. And it's the same thing between comics. And it's going to be like that, I think, digitally with shows and movies and all that kind of content. And we're going to kind of see it, and it's going to blend together so much more smoothly once they get everything up and running and there's not a motherfucking pandemic going on, which again might be in like 2055, but at some point we might actually get out of COVID-19 by the year 2079. So like hopefully in that time we'll get it all set up. But like I love how we're building. I feel like we're actually building something here. And like you said, this episode, we're not getting like it's penultimate. A lot of crazy shit happens. I don't think we're getting a lot of resolutions at the end of next episode. I think we're going to have a guy who gets to see his kids on Christmas Eve, maybe some presents being open, and that's about it. And then we're going to have a lot more questions and answers by the time it's all said and done. But that's for next week. We got this week. We got, what's the name of the episode, Bob?
Ronin, right?
Ronin. I go, yes, I wish it was the Ronin. Again, I love my
You know what? I was surprised to see more Ronin. When you said last week, like, I would love one or two more scenes of Ronin. We haven't seen enough of the Ronin, right? I was like, you know what? I agree with that, but I was like, I can't see someone putting a suit on or another flashback sequence. I was really thrilled to see like a badass Ronin sequence and fight scene in this episode. It was very cool.
Our poor Hawkeye too. He probably heard the request. He's like, Clem wants some Ronin. He's like, fuck man, I don't got a lot in me. Oh, he was like that Ronin. He's not even like, he's not running on oxygen and like food and water. He's on just pure vengeance at that point after his family turned into dust. So it's like, it's not easy for a guy who's like hearing is going, his body's breaking down to throw the suit back on. But I did appreciate it, Clint. So thank you very much.
It was like
from the bottom of my
that
soul.
scene where he's talking to the Avengers Monument. And he's like, "I'm sorry, Nat. I got to do it." Like the cut line from the Feige cut is like, "I'm sorry, Clem. I had to do it." So as I mentioned, I've got COVID, which stinks. I tested positive for it on the day that Spider-Man came out, which was my worst fear. And this is a thing, it's the I think it's the Omnicron, whatever the fuck it is, the Decepticon variant.
You're diagnosing yourself with your strand here. I like this.
I'm diagnosing it because
Joe Rogan told you.
I mean, they said that's going crazy in New York. I figure I probably got it from people that I was around in New York or whatever. So I'm diagnosing myself with that. But I faced a brutal moral dilemma that the basement listeners helped me with, which was like, all right, do I not see I'm not going to see Spider-Man tonight because I'm COVID positive. Barely any symptoms. I'm very lucky to have like barely any symptoms. Just runny nose, a little bit of a fever, I think, but nothing crazy. Said, all right, I'm not going to be able to see Spider-Man. Do I wait to see it for another week until I'm COVID negative? And then maybe I get it spoiled. I mean, people were saying YouTube is already spoiling for people. People seeing stuff on Twitter. They're saying you can't go unspoiled. Or does our worst enemy, what we thought was going to be our worst enemy, save the day? The fact that the movie was released internationally early and the fact that it allowed for bootlegs to hit the internet. I hate to say it because I know Feige listens to the podcast. I had to dip my toes in the water. I had purchased tickets, right? So I gave them the money already. I purchased my tickets for opening weekend. But I did watch a bootleg. Clem saw it in theaters. I saw a bootleg. Hopefully, by the time we record our Spider-Man episode, I will have seen a bit of a clearer bootleg. I didn't miss anything plot-wise, but I told Clem, like, just anything at night, anything in the dark was a little bit hard to decipher what was going on. But I'll say this. I absolutely loved it. And I'm very excited to talk to Clem about it. And we'll talk about it on Monday. I assume you loved it as well. I mean, how could you not?
I loved it. No spoilers. I'll say I'm not going to put it up as tier 1, which is like almost untouchable in my mind. Endgame, Infinity War, like tier 1. I'd say tier 2, probably the next level down, which is
as close to that as you could get, pretty much.
Yes, and I think there was a lot of fun, cool moments that I think everyone. It's a fun movie. It's a very fun movie as well.
Such a fun movie, yeah.
KFC asked if I'd seen it. I said, yeah, and I said it's a fun movie. He's like, oh, like that's it. And I'm like, I don't know how to say it. Like I had fun with it. It's not like a fucking masterpiece. It's not like I could cry by the end of Infinity War. I felt like I had been like I made love to a movie. That's not like that. It's still fucking good.
Oh, it was close. It was close for me, and maybe it was just the COVID. Maybe it was the Omicron.
That fever. That you had a little bit of a fever sex going on. I appreciate that, Bob.
Oh my god, yeah. I texted my girlfriend. I said, "There's webs all over the living room. Don't come home."
So yeah, that's gonna be a deep dive. And again, like it's Thursday night, we're recording Hawkeye, which again we got to give this the love it deserves. But like I'm gonna have to dive deep into Spider-Man. There's probably so much shit that I missed because I'm an idiot. I was in a movie theater. We'll have plenty of work getting done on that on Monday. So I think it's gonna be an absolute blast. And then we roll into the Hawkeye finale next week. It's fucking the Feige train is fucking coasting again. Took a little break during COVID, and we're back. I don't even know when the next movie is or TV show, but we are fucking chewing right now.
I think Doctor Strange might be the next one, and like it was gonna be March, but then it got delayed. Right. So yeah, I don't know when it is either. But speaking of the train keeps a rolling. After Hawkeye, we have Book of Boba Fett. I saw an article today where Robert Rodriguez said every piece of footage we've seen from Book of Boba Fett is from the opening sequence of the first episode because they can't show anything past halfway through the first episode. It would be too big a spoiler, he said. So that is just a little tease to make everyone excited as well. We've seen nothing from that show.
He says like it changes the universe too, right? It like changes the Star Wars universe. Are we going to have a whole bunch of Baby Yodas now? Like, that's how my mind thinks. I'm like, we're going to have more Baby Yodas. The basement is going
Baby Chewbacca.
Yeah. Oh God, Bob, don't you tease. Don't you tease the thought of
I
a
think that
baby
was an
Wookiee.
original idea before baby, like when they were like, there will be a baby in the show The Mandalorian. I think they played with baby Wookiees.
Oh God, I would give anything to see a little baby Wookiee. Their price so fucking cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not so cute in the holiday special. Well, they're kids. They're not babies. But in the
yeah,
holiday
they're
special,
creepy.
yeah. Yeah, a bit creepy. Let's get into Hawkeye. Let's waste no more time. We start this episode in 2018. We see Yelena, another widow, trying to cure a former widow, and she winds up like already being cured. This was a bit confusing, like for me to wrap my head around because they spray her with the gas. She's like, "Ah, you messed up my carpet." They're like, "Oh, you're not brainwashed?" She's like, "Oh no, you thought I was brainwashed by a rich guy or whatever?" And they're like, "Yeah, whatever." Yelena goes to the bathroom and she gets blipped. We love blip content on this podcast. We always talk about how much we love scenes to the snap. This was one of the best ones they did, I thought, because it really captured the confusion around like that moment and how weird it would be. Because at first I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is this multiverse? Like, are they doing magic on this show? And then it clicked and I was like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. She faded away. She came back. It's the blip. But when she comes back and, she's just like in these people's house 5 years later, it captured, oh my God, this would be the most confusing moment in the history of the universe.
I became flat out Tommy Boy, Chris Farley. That was awesome. Like, again, all the blip content, Feige, keep it coming. It doesn't have to be every single series, doesn't have to be every episode movie, but throw in a little, dash. I saw the 2018 because they said it was 2018 and the little light, it wasn't on. This light, the light in this brain, you have to tap it a couple times for it to go on, but it was like flickering. And then when I go, oh wait, oh, she's gonna blip. And then as soon as it happened, I felt like the smartest man alive for something that was telegraphed to probably 95% of the listeners right now. I absolutely loved it. And I loved just the difference where it's the different guy out there, but then the woman's around and is like, oh, hey, like you disappeared. The change of like painting. I'd love to see someone who blipped at my house, like before kids and then after kids. And they see like, still the same big dumb asshole, but it's like, just like the bags under my eyes have gone to my chin now. And it's like, there's toys everywhere. There's fucking wipes on the ground, like packages of wipes for the fucking diapers. Just an absolute scene. And I liked, again, like so much happens in, fuck, 5 years. You've been Barstool 5 years, right? Think about Bob Fox 5 years ago.
Crazy. That would be a crazy blip. I would be like, what the fuck? She asks to find Natasha. She's brought up in this scene, and she's brought up throughout this episode. She actually like opens the episode. Natasha's voice you hear. Kate comes home distraught in the Hawkeye universe, back in our normal timeline from this fight, and Eleanor helps bandage her up. In this conversation, Kate tells Eleanor about Jack, and right away you could tell this bitch is not surprised. She has that look of like, oh God, my daughter found out. So all right, she's like, yeah, oh, okay, I'll have someone look into it, honey. We cut to Maya. She's bandaging up from the fight as well. She got shot with the arrow. We said last week it offended her, so she left. Reminded that there's that fighter at Rough and Rowdy that I don't know if you saw. He got his foot stepped on and then punched. And he was like, he stepped on my foot and he punched me. And we were like, so you quit? And he's like, hey, punch me. And we're like, it was a fight. You signed up for a boxing match. That's what Maya did. She got shot with an arrow and she was like, you fucking hurt me. She took her ball and went home. She's talking to Kazi, and he says, this has got to stop. Like, what are we doing hunting down the Ronin? She's like, steadfast on her mission still.
I loved I didn't love it. It drove me crazy. Kate spilling the beans to the sus queen. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I wanted to be like, oh, well, it's your mom. If it's your mom, that bitch is sus as a motherfucker. The fact that I have to point it out to you, Kate, I'm a little sus of Kate now. Like, not that she's a villain. I'm like, how are you going to be my new Hawkeye if you can't smell out that the woman who's raised you is the sussest motherfucker on the planet? So that drove me absolutely crazy.
She got too much trust in her mom. Way too much trust.
Exactly. So that drove me nuts. And then an Echo kind of bandaging up. That's the perfect way to put it. The dude who's just straight up fucking wanted a DQ for boxing in a boxing match.
And when that happened in real time, I swear to God, I thought of Echo at this Hawkeye, and I was like, do I make this reference on commentary? And I was like, no fucking way are people going to get this. There's going to be a couple basement listeners that would have been like Leo pointing at the screen, but that would have been it. Kate comes to her apartment. She comes home to her apartment, which is all charred up from the whole fire. And Yelena is there. Shuts the door behind her. She's like, I made macaroni. That was a long fight. Like, sit down. She's got hot sauce and the macaroni and stuff. And it's weirdly a very calm conversation for a while, but there's like that little animosity in the air. We just fought. There's tension where it's like, are you here to kill me? And it eventually gets diffused basically when she's like, if I wanted to kill you, you would have been dead the second you walked in the door. And Kate realizes that. Yelena clearly knows a ton about Kate. She shows off with the information. She reveals herself as Natasha's sister. And she's like, what are you doing with Clint? He fucking killed my sister. Like, he's a murderer. What did he do to get you on his side, willing to die for him? Kate obviously doesn't believe any of this. She jumps out the window like Catwoman or something. She does like a free fall. And this was an awesome scene, I thought. It really showed off the humor of Florence Pugh as Yelena, talking about Rudolph. Have you ever eaten a reindeer before? That was very funny around the holidays, right? And it was like such a almost Loki-esque conversation for me, where I was like, we're in the penultimate episode, and the largest chunk of this episode is just being spent like we're sitting at a table across from each other talking. It was like the dialogue was what carried it, and I loved that about it. And Florence Pugh, obviously, we talked about her with the Black Widow review last week, even a little bit. She's a new breakout star of the MCU. Very funny.
I like the whole thing, like, hey, girls' night, like, I'm going to New York on my first time in the city, New York, going to Rockefeller. Fuck Empey. Don't you trust Empey? That guy is a fucking snake. Yeah. That guy would have fucking, blown up your whole family out in Russia if it was up to him. He probably would have thrown your sister on Vormir twice and didn't even ask for the stone. I just love, like, again, it's like, it was like relatable shit. And trust me, I'll say this. I probably would have lost my mind if I didn't think that everything's going to weave together between all the content. I'm like, penultimate, we're talking for like 10 minutes straight. We have no action. But again, I kind of like dig that kind of stuff. That's just as much as fun to me as the fight scenes and all the action and stuff like that. I was wondering what kind of mac and cheese she made. Do you think it's homemade mac and cheese? I'll tell you.
No, it's got to be Kraft box mac and cheese, I think.
That's the thing.
Kate, college student.
College student Kate. Now, college student Kate, but rich, fancy Kate too, right? I'm telling you what it is, Bob. I was just setting you up. I guarantee it was the white cheddar Annie's mac and cheese. I'm talking about the little bunny rabbit on it. Yeah. And that's the first time I learned to trust organic food, which, I mean, it's still powdered macaroni and cheese. I don't know how it's organic. It's whatever, like, the lowest bar for organic is. Like, there's no pesticides used in it, but it is the lowest bar to get the O word on the box.
I thought you were going to say it was like reheated takeout, like leftovers.
Oh, yeah, like from a restaurant.
Yeah, like she ordered in from a restaurant $30 pasta or something.
I'll tell you what, Easy Mac, by the way, great mac and cheese. It's what, like, I had that in college. Did you ever have
Easy Mac, like the little cups?
The little cups, yeah.
I love them. Absolutely love them. They have the little like Kraft macaroni and cheese ones now, and they sell them in a lot of hotel like lobby shops.
Yep.
So whenever I'm on the road, that's like a surefire thing for someone with a weird stomach, where I'm like, yeah, I'll pop this right in the microwave. It's mac and cheese. It's great.
It's perfect, and like it is the greatest like tip of the cap for modern science that we can make something that good, and it's like so creamy, but it's not creamy like milk, and it was done with all this like this cow that was raised right, and we got milk. It's like, no, they've perfected the chemical to make that cheese fucking powder go with water, and it fucking melds together with the macaroni.
Crazy. It becomes like cheese, literally. It's like the fucking Razzles, the candy that becomes gum. It just blows your mind. You're like, oh my God.
And I just want to make this admission because she mentioned it in conversation. There's people that love hot sauce and everything. I've had enough of those people. If you like hot sauce and everything, they always tell you they like hot sauce. And I don't need to know you like hot. If you do, good.
They make a scene out of putting it on their eggs in the morning and all that. Yeah.
Like, we get it. Like, if you do it, God bless you. I'm not one to do it, but like, and same, like, I like to throw ketchup on some stuff. I don't like anything on my eggs. I don't like ketchup. I don't like hot sauce. I just like whatever meats and cheeses. Yeah, salt and pepper I'll do sometimes. Yeah. That's it. You don't have to let everyone know you fucking like hot sauce. It doesn't make it cool. It's fucking hard.
What are you doing, CrossFit with your hot sauce?
Yeah. Kate. Meanwhile, Kate here, 3.8 GPA, double major. There's someone who should be throwing that one around. She's not saying, "Oh, I have fucking 3.8." Kind of hardo, kind of a hardo thing, but nonetheless, we love our Kate. That's our future Hawkeye. We're gonna learn to embrace her.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hawkeye goes, speaking of embracing people, I'm really embracing Grills. He goes to Grills' apartment. He's just the man. He's just a chill dude, always down to like hang out, it seems, always down to hook Hawkeye up with pizza or whatever. He says he's got new costumes. Hawkeye passes on seeing him. They're making us wait till the finale. I think we've seen like basically what we're wearing in the cartoons here, I think that's probably what they're gonna look like. I would love it if they like make Hawkeye the stupid helmet that he wears in the comics, and he like tries it on. He's like, "Nah, I'm not wearing this." Like just something funny like that. Them giving us, I would love. So he chills with the pizza dog. I saw people posting memes of like when the dad doesn't want the dog, but then winds up loving it.
Yes.
And they were funny. Jack is arrested in Eleanor's apartment. He's acting so strange as he is. He's like, it literally seems like he's acting. It seems like he's like reading from a script or something. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, Eleanor. Obviously, I'm being framed. This will all work itself out. It's going to be fine." Clint goes and talks to this monument, like we talked about at Grand Central. It says like the Avengers stood here, which they should fucking put that monument there in real life. That would be
Yes.
awesome. Absolutely awesome. I mean, that would be a tourist attraction. That would bring money to the city. That would help our economy, right? Whoever the fucking mayor is at this point, install that. And he says, "Sorry, I'm about to go back to the old me." Fucking Bugs Bunny meme.
Yo, someone need to make the Bugs Bunny meme, but they just have the Ronin sword there instead, you know?
Yeah.
I was so happy for Grills in that moment when it's like, oh shit, like it's like instead of the girl coming back, it's like the superhero that you fell in love with came back. He wants to crash on his couch, and Hawkeye doing like, "Oh, I have a hotel." No, stay on the couch.
And
I love
Hawkeye enjoyed the company when he was like, "All right, I'll stay on the couch."
Yeah,
He was wanting that invite.
and he's a pops, man. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't need a fancy. He's gonna be able to sleep on that couch. He has the pooch with him. Gets like the fucking companionship. And like you said, Jack almost said like laugh here. Like he was like reading off the script and doing the fucking Anchorman Ron Burgundy thing, like reading right off the script. We had someone Dowd hit me up on Twitter. And he's like, that scene lasted, no joke, like a minute and a half, and that was it. They never got into it. They didn't explain more about it or how the mom called the cops. A lot of stuff's going on in that scene. A lot of stuff didn't make a
I mean, did he even get arrested? Were those paid actors in front of Kate?
And that was
they got
what I was
fucking
going to say.
Kingpin's mafia members to put on police outfits and take him out of the apartment for her.
I should go back and like I didn't even think about looking at like if they even I guess they could be like high quality fakes. It's something you would like notice. But I wonder if you look and they don't even have like an NYPD patch, even though I'm sure they could. But just to kind of hammer it home that like these guys are low rent fucking actors basically.
We're so sus of these people. So sus. These are like Bob the Goons of fucking
yes.
Kingpin. Which by the way, we just did. If you're listening to this on release day, it released yesterday, a Batman Returns commentary with my older brother for the holiday season. That is a Christmas movie. We confirmed it on the commentary. It's on the YouTube page. It's on the podcast feed. One of my favorite episodes in a while because it was just like a 2-hour chill session. Those commentaries just wind up being so much fun because they're so long.
Yeah, and like you watch it with us, or you could just like I've had people say like I don't watch the movie, I just listen, and we're talking the movie, but we're also talking Batman stuff, we're talking comic, we're talking like just shooting the shit and just rant Christmas stuff, and then we kind of just go along that thread of conversation there. So it's a good time, and you had 25 fun facts for us, and Bro Dukes brought the heat as always. It was a great
an
time.
advent calendar of Bat facts, I called it in the blog.
I need this memorial though. I need this memorial. The more I'm thinking of it, like I don't even need the plaque. I almost need like a shield, the reactor, the hammer, like just like and not like life size, but something like a little thing there that kind of marked all the heroes of New York. Like, I mean, come on, it's fucking like this shit. Life is so depressing now. Let's just get a little bit of happiness, even if it's just fake shit, from a fake universe. It's fucking. I'm telling you, man.
Think about this. If you're the city, right? You erect a real person, a statue of them, they could get canceled. They could do something later in life where it's like, I don't know if we have to take that down. It's going to cost the city extra money. Fictional characters aren't going to get canceled. They're heroes for the end of time. We saw Tony Stark's whole life. Great guy. He ain't getting canceled.
Whoa, great guy, Tony Stark. Great guy, Tony Stark.
Listen, it is, as we're recording this, the anniversary of Bucky killing Tony's parents.
So we got a tweet from that, and I saw it as I was leaving the movie theater. I didn't have time to retweet it, but I was going to fucking get in that ass, Robbie Fox. I was ready to get on you like, you motherfucker. Not only did you take down an American hero in Howard Stark, his goddamn innocent wife, and he didn't say a thing. Cap didn't say a goddamn thing. So I bit my tongue because I was so fucking had so much to compute from Spider-Man that I didn't do it. So after the podcast, you guys are going to see that tweet come on your feed. That's post podcast. That means the podcast is done recording.
Oh, before we get back into Hawkeye, though, I got to shout out Bare Bottom. Bare Bottom is on a mission to make the most comfortable, made to last menswear around. As I said last week, they should make Hawkeye's new outfit out of Bare Bottom. It's the stretchiest stuff, it's built for comfort, add a little more comfort to the holidays. That's why Bare Bottom is the perfect gift for friends and family. You could snag their highly rated joggers, my favorite thing, their shorts, their briefs. Big discounts for special bundles and mystery packs. You can get 10% off your first order by going to barebottomclothing.com/basement. That's bear like the animal, BEAR, bottomclothing.com/basement. You'll get 10% off. Like I said, great products, and you're also doing some good in the process. Each item purchased is matched with a donation of a school lunch to a child in need. So look at that. You buy a pair of joggers, you're giving lunch to a kid that needs it. Pretty good deal right there.
Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Take care of yourself. We're all trying to get comfy during these COVID times. Just fucking get your bare bottoms. Everyone's happy.
Yeah. We have a very funny tracksuit mafia scene where they're just in the truck talking back and forth. They're like, "We look like the Royal Tenenbaums," and he's like, "Really? Look like the Royal Tenenbaums?" No, we don't look like them. He's like, "Yeah, we do, man." And then an arrow comes right through the window, and it has a note in it, which is another just cool trick arrow where it's like the little scroll comes out of it, and it says that the Ronin wants to meet with Maya, and they're like, "But we're not Maya." Just kind of a funny thing right there. And Clint, before the meeting, gives his wife one last call, and I gotta say, Laura Barton, she is why they created the term ride or die. We say it week in and week out, but she's like, if we had the opposite of the sus list, she's someone you want on your team. You put her on every team because it's just like, oh yeah, you're in for whatever we're doing.
Ride or die, and if you need someone killed, she'll do that and dig the body for you. That is fucking like, love, absolutely love her, and I'm falling more in love with her every single episode.
I know, she's the best. She's one of the sneaky best characters, and it seems like they filmed like one day with Linda Cardellini, and it's like she got some of the best scenes in it randomly.
She nailed it. And the tracksuit guys, like, they're not gonna like be deep characters. They're gonna be exactly what they are. And again, Jose has prepared us for this. He makes this so much easier to like digest because I might have been like, oh, these guys are this or that, but he's like, no, this is the way they are in the comics. Like, oh, that's fine then.
They're just a big joke, yeah.
Did you notice the Trust-A-Bro is the name of the truck? Yeah. It's Trust-A-Bro Moving Company. That's the name of the trucks that they have in this thing, which I did because bro. So again, those little things there that Jose has like really accentuated the enjoyment of the MCU for us.
Absolutely.
Clint's wife is awesome. That's all I did. I just wrote Clint's wife is awesome. I don't know how else to like say it. You just said it. That's ride or die to the fucking bones.
We get this awesome Ronin ambush ahead of the confrontation with Maya. Like Maya's got tracksuit mafia guys, Kazi headed up on the billboard, and she thinks that she's gonna have the jump on Ronin. Not on the Ronin. Ronin comes in, he gets Kazi on the billboard, he gets tracksuit mafia guys behind the cars, and then he has this confrontation and fight with Maya, which is awesome. Total samurai vibes the whole time. She like opens the fight by like throwing a magazine at him on the gun, and you see it fly through the air and stuff. Very cool. At the end of it, he kind of gets the upper hand. He reveals himself. He takes the hood off and he signs to her. And he's like, "You and I are the same. I wanted you to see who I am. We're just weapons." And she's like, "You're a fucking monster. You killed my father." And he says, "I was hired by your boss to be there that night." And it's like, whoa. She turns on him when he says that. Kate saves him with an arrow, and she grabs an Uber, which was one of my favorite random scenes. He's like, "You got a getaway car?" And the guy turns around and he's like, "Are you Kate?" And she's like, "Yeah, you Alejandro," or whatever. Like, it was just a very like Kate Bishop thing. Another thing that makes you like that character. And Maya immediately confronts Kazi. She's very sus of him. She's like, "Why weren't you there the night my father died?" Because there was apparently like an informant or whatever. There was a tip off. So, whoo, what a scene.
Oh, doggy. Ronin doing Ronin. The Ronin doing the Ronin things. I think that kind of makes sense. Again, that's probably the last we're going to see of him. I'm happy we got a little taste. It's MJ in his last year before he hangs it up, right? I'm talking, and listen, I'm not even talking Bulls MJ. I'm talking Wizards MJ. But everyone forgets Wizards MJ. He had the two-handed block on Ron Mercer back in the day. Like, Wizards MJ could still get some shit done. That's our the Ronin right there. He fucking still got shit done. Got me excited. And Kate is like, she's getting into this superhero thing. She's getting into getting the hang of it all. And it is weird. I noticed this when even Eleanor was talking to her. it is kind of weird how it's like the word superhero when there's this person has no superpowers, right? And
Yeah, she's like, "Do you
it's
think you're a superhero?" She's like, "No," and Clint doesn't either, or whatever.
yeah, and that's probably her. That was probably her fishing for. No, no, no. You are a superhero, honey. It's like,
Yeah,
no, your mom's a bitch. How did you not know? Because he's a sus bitch. She would never say that. So, again, I just love the vibe of it. And like you said, the Uber getaway scene. It was like a modern, very like real and relatable. That's
yeah,
fucking Kate's tagline is going to be like, for the common hero by the common hero.
yeah.
Like she's nothing fancy. She calls an Uber. She doesn't know what to do. Like that's what a college kid would do. She's really good at
She
archery,
probably thought that
taekwondo.
was like an awesome escape. She was like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
the fucking Uber's here already. Can you believe that? We don't
it's
have to
linked.
wait a minute for this thing."
It's linked to your credit card, Kate. It knows everything
Yeah,
about you. Your phone is linked to it. Like
yeah.
the tracksuit mafia can find us if they wanted to right this second. Kaz, big time sussless. We'll get to that
So
later.
the worst. Kate tells Clint about Yelena in the back of the Uber. He has some familiarity with her. She's like, she said she was Natasha's sister, and he's like, "Oh, Yelena." So she's obviously Natasha had that conversation with him at some point. And then we get this shot of Yelena following the sus ass Eleanor through courtyard. We go back to Kate and Clint. They're chilling. They got grills with them, right? They got the pizza dog. Looks like a good happy ending to this episode. And then she gets a text, and it's from Yelena, and it's like, "Kate Bishop, I have some bad news for you. I just took this. This is your mom. This is who hired me." And it is Eleanor with Kingpin. And I gotta say, we called it, but what made the Kingpin reveal so amazing was, in my mind, was Jeremy Renner's delivery of, "Well, that's the guy we've been worried about this whole time." Like when
Yep.
he said that, you could hear the "Oh my God, we're fucked" in his voice. Like it was amazing.
It's when you're like, you're hoping it's not the bad news. You're hoping it's not the worst case scenario. And then you're like, fuck,
There's
it
me with the
is the
COVID
worst case
test.
scenario.
I
Yeah.
was like, well, that's the thing I was worried about this whole time.
Rob got the 2 lines on the thing. Like he's breaking.
Yeah,
You have COVID. Fuck.
that was
um,
me.
and then they followed it up with the Grinch song, which was
Yeah, you're a mean one,
absolutely
Mr. Grinch. Oh my God, it was good.
mwah,
It
fucking
was good.
chef's kiss. And you know what, Bob? As I appreciate it more because, and again, I know there's people in the basement who won't get it, this reference, but in How I Met Your Mother, which was one of the shows that I used to love back in the day, um, there's an episode where Marshall, who's Jason Segel, and Lily, who's Allison Hannigan, they like are dating, and Ted, actually, excuse me, I think he calls her a Grinch, but he's like, except I didn't use the word Grinch, but they say Grinch, Grinchy, Grinch, Grinch, and he doesn't say what it is, but I think we know what Grinch
Yeah,
is. He's like, it's the worst word you could basically call a woman, this and that,
yeah.
and
Eleanor's a
that's what
Grinch.
Eleanor is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Eleanor is
She's a Grinch.
earmuffs for the kids. Ready? Eleanor is a cunt. Cunt, 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 cunt. C word, fucking, we're past the red, we're past the maroon, we're past threat
Yeah,
level midnight. Eleanor is a cunt. She
she's a
hired
cunt.
the motherfucking kingpin. She
A
brought the
cunt.
kingpin into her world. Cunty, cunt, 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 cunt,
Cunt.
cunt. All right. She's a
Nobody isolate that.
Don't you
Great
dare.
episode though. Great penultimate. Leads us into the finale. I'm excited for that. I have COVID. That's an excuse for me.
Oh God, I have 2 kids sleeping like right above my head right now, and I'm fucking making songs out of the C word. But you know what? It just feels
It's
to
deserving.
be right for once. I got a dead dog. Was sus. I had this
Yeah.
innocent like old
You were due.
grandpa.
You were honestly due.
I was due for one, man. It's when you just keep throwing shit in the wall in fantasy, and the guy gets 25 points. Like I knew he had it in him. I knew it. I've been taking it like Daniel Jones. I'm riding the Dan wagon by myself. The Shiv wagon's off the fucking
Yeah.
rails. I got it with the fucking C wagon though. Shout out Eleanor, you fucking cunt.
Do we have a sus list this week, or is it just Eleanor?
So Eleanor's number 1 on the sus list. We're going to start off first and foremost with that. Number 2 on the sus list. Again, I forgot this until I remember when I blogged our last episode. We had Jack basically as like he was right above Clint's
Yeah,
wife. Like
we really warmed up to him too much.
yeah, it's like
Our hearts are too big.
yeah. He's not. It's not the sus list. It's like you suspect. It's like we're gonna say like you suspect. Like I'm on to you, but I'm not gonna say sus. Like, but it's like it's such. I know that you know that I might know that you're trying to fool us right now, Jack. And it's
We
just
remember the lozenge. We didn't forget about that shit.
I have like an accent. I'm for like no. It's fucking weird, and the fake
Pretty
cops
good with
he
a
had-
sword too.
Yes, real good with the sword.
Sus.
And then Kaz, I think that's more of a thing with again, I just call her Echo at this point. Like that, it's always the guy that didn't get the call, which like makes me think of Departed, right? Like it's that kind of same
which
kind of vibes
Farrah
there.
Farmiga.
Yeah, exactly. Who someone said like you have to shout her out because she plays the sus role well, and it's
great.
I'm telling you, she has those eyes, like those fucking cutting eyes. That's why she was able to play Liv Soprano, who was like such a mean woman so well. She's an awesome actress. I love her. Her fucking character wasn't such a cunt. I can just say that now. It's honestly,
it's out there. Yeah,
I say it in the blog whenever I write about soccer or anything in England. I'm like, oh, I can say this because the C word in England is like calling anyone a bitch here. So like it's allowed. I've normalized it. I've been in the pool. I'm warm now. It's like it's out there.
We're big Oasis fans. Yeah, it's just
There was a couple things here. I don't know if we had like we didn't do a mailbag or anything like that, but a couple people said like Eric Eckstein, and then a couple other people said like the bees around the apartments, hexagons, drinking out of cups. There's a lot of stuff out there. And then Annie Bourbon said, Eleanor, do we think she was calling Elaine with Yelena? But I think that was the big man she was calling. Yeah, is that what we're going to go back to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not though, because didn't Yelena's text say that like this is who hired me?
Yeah, so there is still a chance, right?
So yeah, she probably did.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways that can go. Again, you're on our radar. We're not saying we're right. We're not saying we know what's going on, but just want to know if that happens, we called it. If it didn't, it's water under the bridge. We didn't know what the fuck we were talking about.
All right, and now we're going to get into our Christmas countdown. This week is going to be a unique one. Last week we did movies, we did music. So like those, we had the same number one answer for both. Very similar stuff. This one, I think we're going to have three completely out there different answers because we're going to do top 3 Christmas toys or gifts, I guess, right? Like toys.
I'd say, toys.
I kind of had toys on my list.
It's toys. I have one that would be considered, I guess, more of a gift. And then the rest is just toys, but it's the same kind of thing. And this, again, the dog walk, they did their toys draft. If you haven't listened yet, KFC was the guest. They had, it was a great.
Inspired by that.
Yep, inspired by that. And I think the one quote unquote toy they drafted as a toy. So I guess that would be considered a toy. So let me hear Bob Fox's number 3 here.
I was going to say, I have a feeling I might know what that is. So I was going back and forth on a bunch of mine. Because I kept thinking back to like, what did I like always ask for Christmas? But for my Christmases, it usually wasn't me asking for one big gift. It was usually like themed. So if I was super into Star Wars one year, I would want like just all the new action figures and I would get like whatever. If I was super into Indiana Jones one year, I remember I got the new Lego set, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is a movie that people hate. But the actual Kingdom Lego set was like the biggest one. I loved it, right? So I had a lot of stuff like that. And my first one is going to be one from when I was really into Batman. And this is like a double gift because there were like 2 or 3, maybe 3 separate years where this was a big gift. And it's the Batcave playset itself. I was a big playset kid growing up. And when you get a good Batcave, when you get Wayne Manor in front of it, we talked about it in Batman Returns. I had one for my brother growing up, and then I got some myself. Every Batcave I owned got played with until it was like, all marked up. It had been invaded by the Joker 17 times. The Batmobile had been stolen. So number 3 on my list, the Batcave.
The Batmobile lost its real and Joker had gotten away. Like that you actually played that out in real life. I love it. So mine is kind of same ilk, I guess. And we've talked about it in the podcast with Large. It was Castle Grayskull. And the only reason it's probably not higher is I think I was really young when I got it, but I remember it being all set up. It probably, like my dad probably built it the night before, which, hey, parents, new parents, future parents, build whatever you can the night before. Get the batteries in it. Do as much construction as you can. Only get, and I had this conversation today. Give Santa 1 big gift, maybe 2. Don't give the big man all that credit. The big man is basically their god in December. You're the one paying the bill, though. Santa doesn't fucking come unless you are still a believer somehow and he's real. I don't know. But in my world, I'm paying for a lot of the toys that are in that locked room right now. So Santa, he gets like 1 or I think it's 2 big toys from us, maybe like a small one here or there. don't let Santa take all the credit. He's basically the guy you weaponize. But my dad, I think he probably built Castle Grayskull the night before. And like you said, I didn't do this growing up, but I remember going to other kids' house and they would like booby trap the castle. They'd have like stuff from around. They build their own like netting or traps, the Skeletor thing. So those play sets were always so cool. And actually, I was just out the other day looking for, I had to get AJ an ornament, and they had a Super Mario Bowser's Castle.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's gonna be a birthday thing because I don't really think he needs another Christmas present, and his birthday's in April, so he's really gotten into Mario Brothers. So we think, and then you can buy all the figures, and I kind of want to see
My
if he gets
nephew's
into action
that's
figures.
his whole Christmas is Mario and Sonic. Like we got
That's
him all the
awesome.
figures. Yeah, oh my god, he's gonna go crazy. We got him some of the new video games and stuff. So yeah, he's gonna lose his mind.
Hell yeah.
My number 2 pick is another playset, I guess, but it's a bit different. And I think anyone around my age will be able to relate to this if you grew up a wrestling fan. And that is the Hell in the Cell playset. When this came out, oh my God, it was a big thing. It had the breakaway ceiling, so you could do the Mankind through the ceiling. You could throw someone over the cage like Mankind, right? This, I went back and forth. Do I put this one or do I put the Money in the Bank ladder match playset, which came with a bunch of new ladders, breakable ladders, and it came with like, if you're watching on the podcast, you could see it, or if you're watching on YouTube, you could see on the podcast. Sorry, it had like these spikes above the ring that went above it, and then it had a string where you could actually put titles or a briefcase and
Oh
have like ladder matches above the ring, which was huge because growing up, I would literally have my mom. God bless Mama Fox, who we talked about in the Batman
no.
Returns commentary, being a saint.
Oh.
She's great, like sewer, always has been. She would get her string from her sewing kit, wrap it around my toy championship belt, and scotch tape it to the ceiling so I could have ladder matches. And this was like not like a one or two times thing. This was like a pretty common thing, like a couple times a week, maybe a couple times a day at some points. Like we had a ton of ladder matches. So when the Money in the Bank playset got released, that was big. But I'm gonna go with the Hell in a Cell for my official number 2 pick.
I dig that. And that makes me feel ancient because like the Hell in a Cell became a thing as I was already like out of the toy phase of my life. But that's the difference here. And I remember when the ring was like a new thing, like at least for WWF toys. And someone would bring the ring to school, everyone would bring their figures. You'd have like Hulk, you'd have the Legion of Doom, everyone would bring their guys and you just smash them in the middle of the cafeteria. Just so much fucking fun. My number 2, and this is the one that toy, not a toy, and it was a bike. So
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a Nintendo.
okay, so nope, not a Nintendo. This was I remember it's just like it's the memories you have, right? It's all about that. I
Yeah.
remember we opened all our gifts and we were all thrilled. My parents like, oh, I think Santa like left something downstairs, and we all went downstairs, myself, my brother, and my sister, and it was like a bike for me, probably like a 2-wheeler, or it might have training wheels, and my sister had one that was, for and then my brother probably had like a little scooter because he was like tiny at the time. And it's just one of those things that's like that was the fucking hammer on a great Christmas. And that's the one thing I always said, and I thought about this when I was listening to the dog walk draft. Like they were talking about bikes or like pool basketball things or slip and slides. I remember they were talking about it does hurt when you can't use the present immediately. Like I remember we were in the
Yeah.
garage just riding in circles and like no room at all. But it does kind of hurt the gift when you can't use it immediately. And I'm sure it wasn't like unseasonably warm at that point. So bike though, it's like that's like a you're going to the next phase of life right
Yeah.
there. We did that with Sienna, and it's like shit, you're old enough for a bike, and then we had to get her a 2-wheeler last year. So bike, like that's burned in my head. And actually I wanted to ask you this question too, since it relates to Christmas gifts. Did you ever look for gifts or mistakenly stumble upon like a treasure trove of gifts?
Definitely never looked for them. And I don't think I ever did, to be completely honest. I don't think I ever, because this is actually funny. I had the conversation with my mom and like my girlfriend. My girlfriend mentioned that she knew where her mom would hide the gifts. And
Mm-hmm.
I said to my mom like a month ago, like, where did you hide the gifts? She's like, in the laundry room. You didn't know that? I was like, no. Well, apparently what she would do is she would put like all of the gifts in like black contractor bags and just shove them in the back of the laundry room. So they like looked like garbage, I guess.
Yep.
And she had to like explain this to me as a 23-year-old man. So no, I'd never stumbled upon my gifts, which like I'm happy I didn't because it made, they were all surprises and stuff. And like you said about the bikes, it's a classic Christmas memory if your parents ever pull that Christmas story shit on you. Like, I think there might be one extra gift. Like
Yup.
they pulled that on me when I got like my first smartphone, which was the PSP phone. Forget what it was called,
Oh
but
wow.
like the phone looked like an iPhone kind of, but it slid out and it had like a PSP controller instead of a keyboard. I never, well, I should say I never used it. I didn't use it much because it would just eat up battery like crazy. Very cool idea though. And when you open it on Christmas, it's like a fucking PSP phone. It was awesome.
That's the
Um,
old Steve Jobs, but one more thing, right? And you're going
yeah.
on to my parents. This is actually funny. Is I think it was a wrestling thing. My mom had like this workout belt, and it looked the way it was shaped. It looked like a championship belt. So I'd use it to like, I'd act like I'm a wrestler. I'd get my wrestling buddy out. That would be my title. And I think I was looking for it in her closet once, and I stumbled upon like a Toys R Us bag that had like, a ton of gifts, and it like broke me when I got those gifts. A couple of those gifts under the tree. And I think I looked one other time after that because my brother's 6 years younger, so they kept the whole Santa ruse going for a while. And I think I found it one other time. I probably found it like a couple like not like the number one gift. It was terrible. I wouldn't wish it like it ruins
Yeah,
Christmas
you
for
never
you. You know
want
what I
that.
mean? It was bad news bears.
Which some people could say I did that to myself for Spider-Man, but you know what? I was fucking forced to. It was COVID. Fuck COVID.
Fuck
And
COVID.
people were saying you put on a Mysterio helmet and go to the theater, which cracked me up. Mysterio helmet, imagine that.
I actually thought, what can I wear to the theater if I really had to go? Like, is there anything they've come up with yet? I guess Mysterio helmet would be
Yeah,
the
a
closest thing.
fishbowl. My number one. This is something that I played with my entire childhood. It's something I got for Christmas when I was probably 3 years old, probably when I was 4 years old, probably when I was 7 years old. I wound up owning a bunch of them. You could say a collection of them. I played with them in the winter. I played with them in the summer. I played with them in the spring, in the fall, with my brother, with my sister, with my cousins, with my uncles, with my aunts. And it's a simple one. It's the retractable blade lightsaber. This is an absolute gift to humanity. Whoever thought of it looks like a hilt, and then you pull down on the little red button and go like that, and then it comes out, flings out. What an idea. We would have lightsaber battles, hit each other into the pool. It'd be like, oh, you fell into the lava. Have them in the basement, running up the stairs. Anakin, I got the higher ground. It seems like such a simple one because it is. Sometimes the best toys are the simplest. Sometimes the best wiffle ball bat in the world is that little skinny yellow motherfucker. Everyone
Mhm.
knows that, right? It's the simplest, most fastball of a thing. I have videos of me opening these when I was 4. I remember when I got the Darth Maul one, and it's like, holy fuck, now I got the double bladed one. Like, what? Getting new colors was a great deal. So I have just so many great memories of lightsaber duels as a kid that I got to go with a lightsaber.
It's hard to argue that. I bought Luke's when I think it was when they re-released the special editions, and I was like, I gotta get a fucking lights because that's when I really started getting into Star Wars. I didn't grow up with a huge Star Wars fan, but once they came back out in the theater, I really got into them big time, and then I bought the sword, and the kids play with the sword nonstop. They fucking love it, and at this point, the sound just went on it and the lights, but like even just like in the dark, zoom, you throw on the fucking
Oh, the
lightsaber,
best.
fucking works every time. So anyone who has a problem with that, get the fuck out of the basement, right? So that's a prerequisite
And I
to
mean,
enjoy
I
that.
wound up getting one friggin' tattooed on my arm for a reason. Like, you got to know I love lightsabers.
Always got it up your sleeve. I love it. My number one, and you did allude to it earlier. It wasn't Nintendo though, but it is a video game system, and it's the memory that's burned in my head. Sega Genesis. I still remember before I opened the Genesis, and this is something as a parent you have to like. We've had to like figure out how to do this the right way. It was I opened the controller before I opened the Genesis, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta get the
Like, what the
Sega
fuck?
Genesis
You're
controller
like, I
because
don't have one of these.
yeah, exactly. So then I said to my dad, and at that we had an old Sega. There was a Sega Master System, which was the Nintendo. Sega made that as well, so we had the Sega too. So he said, "Oh, it's a new controller for that." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm an idiot kid. Like it worked until I opened the Sega, and I still remember opening the Genesis. fucking, cloud nine. I remember I got John Madden football. But at that point, I didn't even know who John Madden was. Again, stupid kid. I was probably like 8, 9 years old. And I was like, Joe Montana? Who? Like, I know Joe Montana. It says John Madden. And now, like, John Madden is literally like my favorite human ever. That's the only person, if he goes to Barstool HQ, I want to meet him and David Wright. I just want to say thank you, because that guy got me into football. He's the man that I am today in terms of a sports fan. So, and then the reason, like, kind of like the bike memory, I was in my room. Like, Christmas didn't happen that year. Like, I went in my room and I didn't come out until like the next morning. And it was like, the first time you discover like masturbating. Like, I just closed the door and my parents didn't see me, and I was just upstairs playing video games until my eyes bled. And the Sega Genesis was the fucking game changer. It was awesome.
There's a lot of the, and that's why I said I thought you were going to say Nintendo for the one that wasn't a toy, because I thought about putting like a video game system on, and I was like, I don't know if that would count as a toy. But for me, like, the year the PSP came out, which, shout out to Fun Uncle Den, bought all the nieces and nephews PSPs that year. The year the Nintendo DS came out was huge Christmas, right? The year that the Xbox One came out, shout out to Uncle Den, got me an Xbox One.
Fucking
I mean, this
Uncle
guy,
Den.
he's the best. But like, those were also huge, obviously. A new video game system for Christmas. Like you said, it keeps you occupied, especially when you're in school for the entire Christmas break. You have all that time off. You're like, oh, I'm going to play video games all fucking day and all night. Mountain Dew and Doritos.
You just get that little, like, every morning you wake up, you're like, I have the video game as an option for the entire fucking break. And there is something that just hits. I always say this. So something hits different when like a Call of Duty comes out that I like. And it's, once every 3 or 4 years, it's one that I get into. But just having like that where you're just plastered on the couch the entire day, even as a parent, if I get like 2 hours in, it's just like, oh my God, this feels so fucking good. I have nothing else to do. The absolute best. So we got, because like we got like other systems for birthdays and stuff like that. I don't know. I know we got I don't know if we got 64 for Christmas a few years later, but I remember when we got Mario Kart for Christmas. It was after it came out. We had Super Nintendo already. I got it for a birthday, but we got Mario Kart, and it was to all 3 Clemenza kids. I know people don't like my last name, the Clem kids. And the smartest thing you could do is make the present to everyone, because then it's like, technically it's everyone's gift. So you can't be like, it's my game, you can't play. So again, first Mario Kart.
That is like dust. I hope parents are writing down little tips, because I'm making notes of like, yeah, I'm young, but in a decade from now, I'm gonna need to remember tips like that, right? Make it out to everyone, and then they have to share.
If you like, the thing is, we never actually are smart enough to do it like on one episode of Podfathers. If you listen to like every December episode from like the last 5 years, you could probably put together a really good like how-to list. But since we're idiots, we never actually do it on one. But
don't say you're idiots. It's just a connected universe. It's like the MCU. You got to watch all of it to get the full story. All right.
Honorable mention was the Ghostbusters trap. I got the Ghostbusters trap one year.
Oh yeah.
And so AJ saw like a commercial on YouTube. It wasn't even on TV for like a Ghostbusters toys. And he's like, I want Ghostbusters. He's never seen Ghostbusters, never seen the movie, never seen a cartoon. Doesn't even know what Ghostbusters is, just wants Ghostbusters. The trap, I don't even know if they even made them. They might have made like 5 of them. They're sold out everywhere. But I remember back when I was a kid, the trap was impossible to get. And somehow I got the trap one year for Christmas. And my buddy hit me up the other day. And he's like, dude, I remember you had the Ghostbusters trap. And I was so fucking jealous of you for having that. And Ghostbusters was my favorite thing ever.
Is AJ getting like a Ghostbusters Christmas?
We're getting, so again, there's really like, the trap's not out there, and I don't think there's even like one that exists that would be good. It's like a remote control one. He's too young for that, but I am getting him a proton blaster or whatever they're called. And we got a cheap one that was like $10. I saw there's another one. It makes a bunch of sounds and it's a little too advanced for him, but I was like, $30. We're gonna go with the good one, and then I might get him. He loves cars. If he gets into it, we're gonna get him Ecto one for his birthday in April.
Nice.
So that and Mario, it's gonna be going. And everybody, all the YouTube people, right now in the comments, I want to hear the top 3 gifts you got for Christmas. Toys,
like
gifts.
The video too. Boom, the video. Hey,
subscribe.
Listen, I got COVID. If you made it this far, it's a sympathy like. Come on. Oh, I don't feel good. Not to make light of COVID.
Hashtag sympathy. That's our hashtag for if you made it to the end of the episode as well.
Hashtag
sympathy. And I got to shout out a few people here real quick. I got to shout out.
We got some reviews.
Yeah, we got some reviews here. And
Your Christmas is not ruined.
I'm going. Yeah, these people saved Christmas 2021. Bates 1555. Is everyone who less 5-star reviews? J Fat Blonde, Sam 2112, Rev Fan 6, Jacob Casey, I'm Rich Walder, Jake Hebing,
Oh, we got a
Corn
bunch of them, huh?
Doggity, Corn Doggity 69. What a name! And Drew Lane. You guys gave all 5-star reviews. Said nice
Save
stuff about it.
Christmas.
Shout out to you guys. You guys saved Christmas. I decided to get my kids gifts just because of those reviews. I told Bob, I was like, we have 2 pieces of cola right now. So I had to go on Amazon, I had to sign up for fucking Prime so I get them in time.
All right. We will see you guys on Monday for our Spider-Man No Way Home recap, which that is going to be a comprehensive breakdown. That is going to be a great episode. You got to tune in for that. And if you're a Batman fan or just a fan of the holidays, tune in to our movie commentary on Batman Returns, because that was a great episode. One of the best in recent memory of My Mom's Basement, I think.
Agreed. Thanks. See you guys next week.